Hell yeah. Hell yeah. I'm not muting no microphones today. Bear with me. Bear with me a minute. Should I do the Facebook thing today? Yeah, I should probably do the Facebook thing today. I should probably do the Facebook thing today. Oh, man. What is going on, everybody? Hey, what's up? What's going on? Full screen today. We're gonna do full screen stuff. What's going on? Hey, look at my guitars over there. Hey, they're really hot. What is going on, everybody? It's Jon Does. This is episode 104. This is a rarity these days to do these on the Thursdays, because I only go Monday, Wednesday, Fridays for now. But I do like to do these special episodes when there is a big movie coming out and I get the opportunity to see it. That won't happen forever. I won't always have the opportunity to do these. And probably relatively soon too. Hopefully I can still do these movie reviews. Part of that actually relies on you guys, because if you want to keep seeing me do these things, oh yeah, I didn't put a I'm doing full screen. I'm not doing graphics today. John, you're not doing graphics, John. We know what we're talking about today. It's just one subject. But before we get into that subject, check out WildDinosaur.com. I'm gonna make a new lower third. This is gross. I was trying to work on one yesterday, but I'm just not happy with the lower thirds I've been making. So I'll hopefully fix that by tomorrow. Maybe, we'll see. I don't know. This show's a constant work in progress. So, what was I saying? Oh yeah, check out WildDinosaur.com. It's the best place to support the channel. If you want to see me do more movie reviews, really the only way I can do it is if I can afford tickets to the movies. So help me out there. Buy some stuff from WildDinosaur.com. There's all kinds of good stuff. I am gonna be trying to clean up the website again here shortly. I'll have new stuff to go up there. So keep paying attention to WildDinosaur.com. Why is this not? God, everything's not working right now. That's why I'm a couple minutes late. Forgive me. I'd forgotten to make a thumbnail image for this before I went to the movies, and that put me a little bit behind. But then I just started having problem. My camera was just like, you need to format your SD card. I'm like, I'm not even using an SD card right now, so screw off. And it was like, well, I'm gonna just give you I'm gonna give you dumb messages on your screen because your card's not formatted. And I'm like, yeah, but we're not using the card here. And it was like, I don't care. And I'm like, damn it, camera. And I'm sure some people in my house heard me screaming, fuck. Because that was happening quite a bit. That was happening quite a bit for the last couple of minutes. So forgive me. I'm still making sure I got everything together. You heard the music, right? You heard all that stuff. Did you guys where is it? Did you guys hear this? Yeah, you heard that? Okay, that's good. Did you hear that? My stomach's been kind of upset all day, so anyways, I'm glad you heard that. All right, everything seems to be working okay. We're live. We are on YouTube. We've got things going. And it's currently 6:10, and I got home from the movies at about 5:30. I walked into my restroom, and I looked at my phone when I walked into the restroom, and it was 5:30 on the dot. And I figured I would be home by 5:30, and I was, because I wanted to do this, because there is a new movie. It's a new Marvel movie, Ant-Man and the Wasp: Quantumania. And oh boy, there is quite a lot of talk right now about Ant-Man and the Wasp: Quantumania. It's got what was it, like 50 or 60, 67%. I don't know. Let's look it up. Let's check out. I'm totally not prepared. I obviously don't have graphics, and I don't have other things going, the normal stuff going on. So forgive me. We're gonna look up the Rotten Tomatoes score for Ant-Man, which should be right here on the home screen. I guess not. Yeah, there we go. Ant-Man and the Wasp: Quantumania. So, okay. The tomato meter has this at 48%. That's not good necessarily on the tomato meter, but the audience score here is 86%. And I wanted to discuss some of this stuff. I'm going to do my best to not get into spoilers, because I don't like spoiling movies so much for you. The only time I like to talk about a spoiler is if it's a part of the conversation, and it is used to drive a point home. So I am going to stay away from spoilers. I'm not even going to talk about post-credit scenes or anything like that, because that's just, I don't know. Post-credit scenes can be fun and part of the story. And these two are part of the story. However, I have officially gone back to where I was. Okay, this is all I'm going to say about the post-credit scenes. I've officially gone back to where I was in 2012 when I first saw the Avengers, and there was a post-credit scene, and I was like, what the fuck is this blue penis looking thing? And why does he have this metal glove? Well, the answer to that was Thanos. And I just, look, I need to reiterate this. I'm not the biggest. I like comics a lot, but I've never been a comics person. I barely know how to read. That's not true. I do know how to read, but I do have a collection of I collect volumes, graphic novels, and I've never been big on individual issues. And so I don't know. I never kept up with comics regularly, but I do like certain comic runs, like the ones that I had when I was a kid, where I had a couple of Namor comics, and I had issue 1 of Spawn, and there's some other stuff that was thrown in there. But that was kind of the extent of it. But I've always been a movie person. That's why I'm, trying to get my directing certificate, and have worked doing video production stuff for more than a decade at this point. So I do want to talk about this movie on its own merits, because I think there is a big critique about this movie being just a building block to the next movie. And I actually disagree with that. I mean, yes, 100%. This is building up Kang and the Kang, what was it? The Kang Dynasty and just Marvel's future. However, this movie isn't necessarily just that. I think this movie is really quite fun. Let's see. I wish there were some people in the chat right now. There are currently there's nobody in the chat right now. And that's okay. I would love to have some conversation here about this. Again, not to get into spoilers, but like, you know, there's one of our viewers, Derpy, and I had told him I was going to see this, and there was a "oh God" reaction. I do think that's unfair to this movie, because you heard a bunch of critics talking about how they didn't like this movie, and I look, Derpy, I'm not trying to come down on you or anything, but I did hear one of your episodes where you're talking about the critic score on this, and I don't know. I don't think it's as bad as it's made out to be. This isn't like the death and destruction of Marvel by any means. Like, if you think this movie being bad is the end of Marvel, I don't know if you're looking at the big picture here. Look, Marvel's not too big to fail, but Marvel has earned. I shouldn't say Marvel has earned. Marvel has earned a lot. However, I do agree with a lot of people. Phase 4 has been a little weak. And I don't know. I think the comments we've heard from Kevin Feige this last week of they're slowing down their content, and it's quality over quantity at this point. I think that's a good thing to say. I do think that's a reaction to the critic scores. But look, if you're a Marvel fan, or you like science fiction, you want to have a good look. It's a big budget blockbuster popcorn movie. That's exactly what this is. If you are looking to have a good time in the theaters, you enjoy Marvel movies, you should definitely go see this movie, because it's fun. It is fun. I mean, there's a lot of they tease a lot of stakes in this movie. They tease that in the trailers. I don't know if the stakes. How do I say this? Okay, look, I do have some issues with this movie, but they are not the same kinds of critiques that other people have thrown out there about this. I do think for a movie that's it's really under 2 hours. I think the runtime is like 2:05, and you got credits and stuff in there. There's a lot of stuff to. I mean, this isn't an Endgame, or Infinity War, where you have to split this up. But there is a lot of information to get through in regards to what's going on. You've got where Paul Rudd's at in his life. You got his relationship with Hank and Janet and Hope, and you also have his relationship with his daughter, which is really what this movie is about. Is Scott's relationship with his daughter, which is really good, actually. I kind of didn't. When I heard this movie was when this movie was announced, I was excited about it. And over Phase 4, I have sometimes my expectations were a little too high, and so things were not what I expected. So maybe my perception is it was worse than I thought it was. Initially, like, I'm not a big fan of Multiverse of Madness. I really wanted that movie to be good, but that movie is not a very good multiverse movie. It's a decent Doctor Strange movie, but it like they didn't. There's like one scene where you actually deal with multiversal stuff. Sorry, multiversal stuff is not. There's a lot of multiversal stuff in there, but the way you play with it, instead of just like these huge big cameos and stuff that you get in Multiverse of Madness, you get like that one scene where Doctor Strange and America Chavez are floating through or like flying through multiverses. That's like the only scene you get about a movie called The Multiverse of Madness. The other, that movie was really led by the like cameos and the big things that were speculated and maybe loosely promised in the marketing for it. Ant-Man and the Wasp: Quantumania, I think, is a better movie. It's not that it's necessarily technically better. It's just more fun. I had way more fun watching this movie than Multiverse of Madness. Again, it's got its flaws. I do think the biggest flaw in this movie is probably, I think it's probably the, I don't know. I'd really have to, look, if I was more knowledgeable in the history of these certain characters, maybe I could nitpick and say, oh, well, this didn't work out as well for me. Like, Kang is a new villain for me. I've seen him around. I watched like a lot of animated stuff back in the day that Kang pops up in, but I'm not familiar with who Kang is overall. I became more knowledgeable about Thanos after the post credit scene from the first Avengers movie, because I learned who Thanos was at the end of that movie. Again, it was a character that I had seen, but I didn't follow these movies or comics as closely as I follow the movies. And so I've had this conversation before on air. I don't care about, the comics did it. I don't care. I really don't care. That means nothing to me. I think good movies are good. There's some good adaptations, and there's some good things that need to change in movies. Winter Soldier, was a good adaptation within the context of the cinematic universe. It knows what it's trying to do. It knows what came before it, but still using popular storylines to get people into the theaters. So when people say, "Oh, well, that's not the King," I know. Well, first of all, I don't care. I really could care less if that's the Kang that you're used to in comic books. But that's the other thing too, is they've been telling us since Loki there's going to be countless versions of this character. So I'm just allowing the cinematic universe to do what it wants to do, because I could give a shit about, well, the comics did this. Get over it. If you don't like the movie, go read the comic. That's it. Or even better, here's an even better option. If you don't like the movie, go write your own. That's what I do. If I don't like something, I'll have my criticisms of it, and then be like, I could probably do better. I haven't achieved that. I'm not making Marvel movies, but that's fine. Because the thing that matters out of that is not the like, well, it sucks, and I'm just gonna sit here and stew about it. Go fucking make something. Go do something. I'm not calling anybody out specifically on this, but this is just a discourse that I hear online all the time. If you don't like it, shut the fuck up and go do something about it. Go make a better movie. Go pitch Marvel some comics. Maybe you'll work your way up. Maybe you'll become a writer. those are good positives that come out of the discourse. But here's I don't know. Here's a yeah. I guess that's what I gotta say about that is if you have a problem, look. I'm not saying you can't have opinions about movies. You should definitely have opinions about movies. But what doesn't help anybody is this online discourse of like, well, Marvel's gonna die and they made one bad movie or whatever. Like, I don't know if you're paying attention, but Marvel's raking in millions and millions of dollars from this stuff. And again, it's not too big to fail because we, as an audience, we have been giving our feedback of Phase 4 has not worked out very well for us. We don't like certain characters. We don't like the amount of stuff that's coming out. It's kind of the opposite with Star Wars, you know? And I just don't think that it's helpful to the online or to the discourse in general to just say like, oh, well, it's got low critic ratings, because that's the other thing. Critics are just giving their opinions. You don't have to agree with it. And Rotten Tomatoes is another place where like it's not a complete accurate look at what's going on. It's maybe one of the better takes, but it's not like completely accurate, you know. Critic scores and audience scores are can differ quite a lot. There's plenty of movies out there you can look through Rotten Tomatoes, and the critic score is like abysmal, and audience scores are something completely different. And here's the difference. Here's why that happens. Do you know what critics do for a job? Do you know what they do? They watch movies all day. They watch everything they can get their hands on because they have deadlines and they need to get reviews and articles, opinion pieces, all of that stuff out there. So when your job is to just consume this stuff all day, and look, I do value criticism. I do value critiques and writers. You know, like the online community that I follow is like Christian Harloff, John Roca, Jeff Snyder. Jeff Snyder, actually, I was introduced through the Schmodown, but I actually think he's maybe one of my favorite writers in the world of entertainment writing. There's a bunch of other good ones out there, but I've started to gravitate toward Jeff Snyder, and we don't always have the same take on stuff. But their whole jobs are to watch movies all day long. And you know what we're supposed to do as an audience is we're supposed to go see movies and just kind of escape from our lives, our jobs. Critics don't do that. They don't get to escape from their jobs. They can love it. I mean, okay, let me rephrase that. They can escape from their jobs, but watching movies all the time isn't. You do have to learn how to separate. Like, I'm gonna watch this and review this, and then there's some stuff for me. You know, how mid? It was good. I liked the movie. I think it's a good movie. I think it's an entertaining movie. I just don't. I think the hype around the like Rotten Tomato score, I really could care less, you know. Sorry, my mustache itches. Look like I'm on cocaine. No. I think the movie's good. I enjoy the movie. I think it's not good though. Did you see it? Did you see the movie? Did you see the movie yet? I'm curious. I'm genuinely curious if you went to go see the movie, because if that's the case, that's cool. That's your opinion. You don't have to like the movie, but if you didn't see the movie and you're just listening to like the online discourse, like that's the wrong way to go about this. I don't know. No, but I saw Phase 4. Yeah, but Phase 4, I mean, okay, cool, you saw Phase 4. You saw Phase 1 through 3, though. Like, look, not everything's great. And I agree. I don't think Phase 4 is. I don't think Phase 4 is the most balanced. But just because Phase 4 wasn't that great doesn't mean one movie's gonna be the end all. I wouldn't say Phase 4 is bad. It's just a lot of it didn't hit right. Like that's maybe not the right way to say it. There was a lot of underwhelming stuff. I think She-Hulk was a character definitely I didn't care too much about, and I didn't really enjoy the show. But Moon Knight, I like Moon Knight, and I think I was excited to hear Kevin Feige say that there was plans for more Moon Knight. I think that's great. I love Oscar Isaacs, and I really like the series. There was some stuff that didn't work in that either, but not everything is good and bad. Like, art is subjective, and so you can have discourse about what you did and didn't like about it. But like, if we're coming at this as like Marvel's done and dead in the water, like that's not the conversation that's happening right now, because it's just not true. They have they're readjusting things. They'll like I said, I was excited to hear that there's going to be a quality over quantity thing happening, because I think that's honestly the biggest thing that Phase 4 suffers from is quantity. They just made a lot of stuff. You know, all of those series that comes out. She-Hulk is what, there was 8 episodes, is that right? 8. That's an 8-hour movie, you know, and they did that for what, six series or however many came out in Phase 4. I honestly, I don't remember. I don't know. I just have a hard time. I have a hard time with the conversation that this movie is bad because people say it's bad. Let me get into some stuff that I think was good about this movie. It does still maintain the lightheartedness of Ant-Man, the Ant-Man series. There's comedy in it, and it like the comedy is not like Thor: Love and Thunder. It's not like Marvel does throw in the little jabby one-liners here and there, but I think it worked well because it works with this character, and it always has. Maybe you know, you can have that problem with like the way I view Guardians 1 and 2. Guardians 1 was really good, and then Guardians 2 was like whatever worked, they just amplified it. Like all of the characters got one-liners. Like Drax, people like Drax. Okay, every line that Drax says is going to be a joke. Like, they still don't do that as much or as bad as I think Guardians 2 does it. The humor does work for me. I didn't laugh at everything because Paul Rudd is like walking dad jokes, and that's one of the things that I think that works about it. But let's see. What else worked? What else worked for me? Look, do I think this is going to be a movie for everybody? No, I don't. I don't think so. And the reason I say that is because I like weird stuff. Okay, let's talk about one specific thing. Let's talk about a character that was speculated for a while, but at the same time got a lot of I've been hearing some bad things about coming out of this movie, and that's MODOK. MODOK is in this movie. He's in a trailer. I don't want to give away too much about what MODOK's like motivations are or anything like that, but if you're doing a character like MODOK, which again, I'm not the most knowledgeable of all of the MODOK storylines or anything like that, but I know who MODOK is. And MODOK to me is a fucking weird character. And I think they did MODOK well. I think people are going to have a problem with the visual aesthetic, but I also think that visual aesthetic is part of the joke. I thought it was weird. I thought it was good. And actually some of the humor around MODOK I thought was some of the better comedy in the movie. Yeah, I I actually really liked MODOK, and how that worked out. And again, I know this isn't for everybody, but I like the weirdness that they threw into this. It is bigger than other Ant-Man movies, but at the same time, it feels kind of like an Ant-Man movie. Um, it, how do I say this? The other two movies have been referred to as like palate cleansers, and I think this one is like, it's not the palate cleanser, it's the, well, obviously this is the first one in phase 5. This is our first movie in phase 5. So I think it serves a good starting point for phase 5. We do get introduced to the big bad. Ant-Man is the one to do this. Ant-Man is the one to introduce, well, Loki really, but the idea, or a bigger picture of where we're going with this is introduced by Ant-Man, and I think that almost serves a kind of similar purpose, not a palate cleanser, but if you're gonna say, if we're gonna say like Captain America Civil War was like Avengers 2.5, I would say this is like an Avengers movie without the Avengers. It's okay. I don't know how I describe this. Maybe this is just something I'm gonna struggle with for a little bit, but it did still feel like an Ant-Man movie to me. There is a lot of CG. There's a lot of CG in this movie, but you can't really do this movie without a lot of CG because it's the microverse. Well, that's not what we're calling it, right? It's the quantum realm. It's you can't really accomplish making a movie like this without that much graphics, and because there is such a bigger conversation about VFX work in Hollywood and how people are treated. Yeah, I think this movie had they had that mentality of quality over quantity, I think maybe another couple of months rendering out some things or working out some stuff. Again, I think MODOK worked pretty well for me, but that's because I didn't expect him to be a main character, a main villain, or a big part of all this. He was just there, but there's reasons why he's there that play into other Ant-Man movies, and I don't know. He was the only way I can describe a lot of this movie is they do play with weird stuff. They play with it more and in a better way than I thought they handled Multiverse of Madness. And I really, really wanted Multiverse of Madness to be better. I really wanted to like it more. I don't know. Let's see what I'm just trying to get my thoughts together because there's a lot of stuff. There's one specific line that I don't think is gonna work well for a large audience. It's something Michael Douglas says, and it is a politically triggering statement. It's quick, it's passing. I enjoyed it, but I do think that maybe some of the general audience might be a little bit triggered by hearing a specific word in regards to economic systems. But yeah, it's a Michael Douglas line. If you've seen the movie, you'll know what I'm talking about. And I do think it's just such a heated time period that I do think that some people are going to be like, I can't believe they're promoting that or whatever. Yes. Okay. I keep hearing people say this is Marvel's Star Wars, which I understand where people are coming from. However, I do personally feel like the better analogy is not Star Wars, but an inspiration of Star Wars. And I feel like this movie feels to me more like a John Carter than a Star Wars, which talk about splitting hairs, sure. But this feels more John Carter to me than it did Star Wars. I think it's just easy to say Star Wars because they both come from Disney, which John Carter Disney did a John Carter movie, which again, this is going back into my tastes. I love that John Carter movie. What year did that come out? It was like 2011. I think it was 2012. Okay. Yeah, it's 2012. Man, I really liked that movie quite a bit. And it didn't get marketed well, and I know it's kind of hokey. And anyways, I hope it didn't scare Derpy off. I mean, look, we have a difference in opinions on where Marvel is right now, and that's totally fine. Like, I hope you come back. I hope you come back and join the chat again, because I don't know. I don't write the movie off yet. Like, if you're a fan of the Marvel movies and you haven't seen it yet, it would behoove you to go see the movie. If it doesn't look appealing to you, don't see the movie. That's how capitalism works. You don't want something, you don't have to have it. But I also think it's unfair to dogpile on Marvel about this, because yeah, they haven't had the easy or the most balanced last couple of years with their Phase 4. That's okay. Like, I expected change to happen after Endgame. If you didn't expect change to happen within Marvel, then like, we're just going to be getting the same movies over and over again, which is not something that I want. I'm looking forward to new stuff, and then the new stuff that we got was a lot of hit and miss. I'll be honest. But there's a lot of stuff that worked too. And again, I hope, Derpy, you come back and join the discourse about this, because it's a fun movie. I enjoyed it. I'm not gonna sit here and say I think everybody should enjoy this movie as much as me, because that's just not how the world works. But if you like weird stuff and you've been looking forward to getting into more weird Marvel stuff, like I was after Guardians 1, this to me like fills that hole in regards to what kind of movies I like to consume. I was bummed when I first heard James Gunn was fired from Marvel, because I knew he was working on a whole, cosmic, the whole cosmic side of Marvel, and I was looking forward to that. And he's moved on. He's doing his own thing with DC. We'll probably get some cool stuff from DC too. But this, to me, Ant-Man and the Wasp: Quantumania is what I was looking for. From more of, and I understand difference between the quantum verse or the what is it? Oh my god, why am I like completely? I literally just saw this movie, not the Quantum Zone. I'm gonna just call it the Microverse, because I know that's what it is in the comics. Which I wanted to look that up, because that was something. The Micronauts. Whoops. yeah, I know they can't do the Micronauts because of rights issues. But if what they did in Quantumania was anything like what goes on in the comics with the Micronauts, I would love to see Marvel pay money to get that license back, because I want to see more stuff in the quantum realm. Quantum realm, there we go. Such a dumbass. Yeah, the quantum realm. I really want to see more stuff within the quantum realm. That being said, there's the reality of the VFX industry, and I do want people to like not get over. I think Marvel also saying these things about quality over quantity is also a reaction to this conversation too about VFX artists, and how they don't have unions, how people are constantly, overworked, and I don't know about the underpay, but that's probably a thing too. It depends. Probably. I hope nobody's going homeless and working, for doing VFX for a Marvel movie and going homeless because you can't afford all your amenities or anything like that. I don't think that's what's going on, but it is also a thing to be aware of. Just the whole workforce in America is a big conversation, but it is also, you're still seeing these unionized branches of Hollywood. By branches of Hollywood, I mean like PAs. I don't know. There's a whole bunch of departments in Hollywood. So, look, I knew I might ruffle a little feathers by not saying this movie's bad, but like, the world is burning, right? There's so much shit going on, and the last thing I care to be like super mad at is the entertainment I consume. I don't think if you're a comics person, it's hard to let go of the histories of the comics, and what the company has done, to writers and stuff like that. Those are a lot of longer conversations that I don't disagree. Paying your artists. That goes for Disney too. They have had issues with crediting, for example, writers for the Legends Star Wars books, that they end up using those characters and stuff like that. They don't credit those authors very often, if ever. I think those things are starting to change a little bit, but also that happens when people speak up. So support your VFX, support the writers, support all the below the line employees. If you're not sure what that term means, below the line is basically anybody who's not a director, producer, or the big entities that make a movie. Everything else is below the line. Sound people, camera people, grips, all of it, catering, whatever, drivers, all that stuff. They're all below the line. So support your below the line peeps. Let's see. Man, I really wish Derpy didn't disappear, because I'd love to have a little bit more discourse about this. Without and again, Derpy, if you do go back and watch this, or if you are listening, I hope you don't think I'm coming at you or anything like that. But I don't know. It's one of those things where like it's hard to make an opinion without the information for yourself. So all I'd say is go see the movie and see if you enjoy it, and try to walk in without the expectations of like, well, Rotten Tomatoes says 47% or whatever it was at. Where is it? Yeah, 48%. Well, That's the tomato meter. Let's see where. Okay, here's one of the critic consensus that I see here. Ant-Man and the Wasp: Quantumania mostly lacks the spark of fun that elevated earlier adventures, but Jonathan Majors Kang is the thrilling villain poised to alter the course of the MCU. I agree with that. I don't agree with that it lacks fun. I do think it's fun. I don't know if Marvel's version of fun works for everybody though. In what you mean, I mean, if this was in space, I would say this was a space romp to a degree. But I disagree that there's no fun in this, because I had fun. I don't know if it was the kind of fun that was intended, though. Like, I'll go back to the MODOK thing, for example. MODOK looks really weird, and when you understand this version of MODOK in the movies, you're like, the CG looks weird. That I feel like was done on purpose, and it works for me. If you're gonna add a weird ass character like that into a movie and you have an explanation for it, I'm down. Again, there's some stuff I think the VFX could have done a little bit better, but again, I understand they're on strict deadlines, and I don't know if everything could have I don't know. There was some moments where for example, there's a scene in the trailer where there's like an orb thing, and then there's like a bunch of little tiny Scots, and they're all climbing up each other like a little ant hill. That scene is really fun. It's really fun. I enjoyed that scene quite a bit. But the CG in that scene is almost reminiscent or on par with when people complained about the end of Black Panther. Sure, is it a little wonky? Could they have spent another couple of months rendering those things out? Yeah, I don't think it would have changed the movie for me, though. It just would have been slightly more pleasing to see. I do wonder what my take's going to be rewatching it when it comes to Disney Plus eventually. Because I do want to rewatch this movie on a small screen. Let's see. Man, I really wish there were some people out there. Derpy, come back. If I wish it real hard, maybe he will. Yeah, there's just so much stuff that I feel like I could talk about on this without spoiling it, of course. Spoiling too much. That's not in the trailers. I would love to field some questions about it, but yeah, I don't know. It's if you need an emotional release and you need something to be like, oh, that sucks. Well, sure. Entertainment's easy. Yeah, easy to say. I by no means think that this is like this movie. People saying this movie is bad, I disagree, and I highly unlikely that this is like the end of Marvel. I've heard that thrown around like, oh, this is the downfall of Marvel. No, it's not. It's a readjusting of Marvel, and they've already told us that they're readjusting. Again, you don't have to like this movie. You don't have to like everything about this movie. I don't like everything about this movie, but I thought it was fun. I thought it was really fun. Oh shoot, you know what I don't have? I was just realizing I was doing the full screen, and maybe I can add it in real quick. Yeah, I'm gonna try to add in this because it's been a while since I've done one of these. Smelly pit ratings for Ant-Man. I don't have a place to put it. That's because I don't have graphics. I don't have my graphics. I'll do it right over my face. Smell my... Wait, right there. Sniffing my pits. Yeah, I'll blow it up a little bit. Okay, so we are going to give this a smelly pit rating. It's not a 5. I will say it's not a 5. There we go. Hold on. Is Derpy back? Derpy, are you back? Please say you're back. I want to field some questions. Please have some discourse with me, please. Because yeah, I mean, I don't think. Oh man, if you don't like Phase 4, that's totally cool. You can have that opinion. Some of it worked for me, some of it didn't. I don't think it's terrible. Oh man, looks like he keeps coming and going. I don't know, whatever. But let's see. There's some things that I have not gone over yet. Michael Douglas seems like a little bit of a different character at times, but also it's good to see him in this movie. He gets more to do than he's done previously. Michelle Pfeiffer, I think, oh man, actually one of the bigger frustrating narrative points for me was Janet. Michelle Pfeiffer does a really good job in the role. It's more the character. This is actually a trope that's in a lot of movies where it's like there's a huge event, threat, something happening, and there's a character that knows about it or knows something about it and is like, I can't tell you about it. We don't have the time. And then they sit there and have like a 5-minute discussion about like why it's not a good time to talk about this. And that happens frustratingly over and over and over again with Michelle Pfeiffer's character, where she's like, I don't have time to explain this. And it's like, why not? You need to make some fucking time right now. Like, this makes zero sense to me. The lack of communication in movies sometimes is so funny to me. And it gets a little hard to watch, actually. Growing up, I had a really hard time. I still do, to a degree, have a hard time with like Curb Your Enthusiasm and like Seinfeld type humor, where it's just like a person putting their foot in their mouth, or like a situation snowballing out of control just because like there's a miscommunication. I fucking have a really hard time with that kind of humor. It bugs the shit out of me because I'm like, you guys are all dumb, and why am I wasting my time watching this when you could have been communicated better? And this was one of those cases for me where I'm like, how did you not communicate any of this stuff? How did you not feel it was important to explain any of this stuff? And then a response at one point, it's a standard response you get in movies, when Hope asks this question, and all you get is like, I was just trying to protect you. My God, she's in her 40s and she has a government grade military suit that she can shrink down and kick people's asses in. You really think that not telling her about all of this stuff going on is protecting her? Oh my God, it was frustrating. It was super frustrating. I hate that. I hate it so much. That was a big moment that was frustrating in the movie that I disliked. But I still had a lot of fun in this movie. And again, it had the same kind of weight as like a John Carter does to me. I mean, Kang is a good villain. Kang, I should talk about a minute. Everybody across the board saying Jonathan Majors is great in this role. 100% agree. 100% agree. There's nothing to say there. That's it. Jonathan Majors is the new big villain. I can't wait to see more. All of that stuff. There's two post-credit scenes. You should stay and watch those. Some of them are a little over my head to a degree, but also gets me excited about stuff coming up soon too. Again, this movie sets up a lot of stuff for the future, but I disagree that it's only that. I disagree that this only acts as a building block to get to Kang later. I disagree with that. I think this movie sets up a lot of stuff, but I think it also does a good job kind of explaining what's been going on too. I think there's maybe a conversation to be had about like, okay, a movie called Ant-Man, what is the character arc for him? Well, I watch the movie and decide for yourself. Is there one? Maybe, maybe not. But I do think that this movie gives more insight into this dysfunctional family that we've been building up since the first movie. You know, Cassie and Scott and Hope and Hank and Janet and all of them. There are people from the other movies that are not in this movie. I'll let you figure that out for yourselves to go see this movie and, you know, figure out who is and isn't in this movie. There is one person that is in the other movies that plays a completely different character in this one, but he's not on screen. It's more of a voice work, I believe. Really funny character, by the way. Yeah, there was some really good stuff. The characters that lived in the quantum realm, again, I would love to see more of this. If there is a way to do just a quantum realm movie, not this, not like having it have to be for Kang or Ant-Man, but like, you know, like I was saying, if we could get like a Micronauts movie or something going, which I don't think is going to happen anytime soon, due to rights issues. But anyways, I'm gonna get going. I'm gonna go eat something, because all I've eaten since like noon was a couple of Starburst and a Coke from the movie theater. Well, okay. Oh yeah, right. I was gonna get into the Smelly Pit rating. I'm gonna do my Smelly Pit rating for Ant-Man and the Wasp: Quantumania. But wait. Where is it? Hold on. Where? Yep, that's the one. Okay. I give it 4 Smelly Pits. 4 out of 5. 4 out of 5. That's where I landed. Totally thought out. Not coincidental that I landed there right when the crash hit. No, I if I would lower it, it would be half a pit. So, I am gonna do that. I'm gonna go back just a little bit, like 3.5 Smelly Pits, because I'm being more aware of my first time viewings of movies and how I potentially changed. This is a really fun movie. Didn't hit every note I would care for necessarily. But I do think this is a good movie. I think I keep repeating myself. It is a really fun science fiction movie. Just such weird stuff going on. Weird characters, and again, I just wish they could do more with some of that stuff too. So I hope to see more Quantum Realm in the future. Hopefully in the near future. Man, was there anything else I wanted to talk about before I get out of here? Yeah, Smelly Pit rating 3.5 out of 5, which is not bad. To me, that's about an 8, 7 or an 8 in movie quality. And yeah, again, we've grown expectations because of Marvel as movie-going fans, and I think sometimes we need to break those things. We shouldn't be expecting a movie just to be a building block for another movie all the time. They've trained us. Marvel's trained us. Not one person got up and left when the credits started rolling in my theater, which is not always the standard occurrence. I sometimes see, at least if there's, maybe some older people in the crowd or something like that, they'll get up and leave. But also wasn't a crowded theater because it was the first showing of the day. Nobody left until after the credits finished. But good movie. Enjoyed it. It was weird. It was fun. There were stakes. I don't know if... I think let me just go back. I think the hype in the marketing for what the stakes would be maybe a little overdone. That's all I'll say about that. All right, I'm gonna get going. I'm hungry. I need to go eat something. What did you think about Ant-Man and the Wasp: Quantumania? Please come back to this video after you go see it and let me know what you think in the comments. Like and subscribe, do all that fun stuff. Don't forget to check out wilddinosaur.com. It's the best place to support this channel. There's my terrible lower third that will get remade pretty soon. My graphics guy sucks. I'm the graphics guy. No, yeah, check out wilddinosaur.com. It's the best place to support the channel. There's all kinds of stuff there. I usually like to send people there instead of doing like maybe one of these days I'll do a Patreon or something like that. But I don't like to just ask for money so much. You know, I like to give you guys something in exchange. And maybe as this channel grows, I can give you more content for like memberships or something eventually. But currently the best ways to support this channel, follow me on Instagram. That helps. Like and subscribe this YouTube channel, share these videos, and hit up wilddinosaur.com, because if you buy something there, I get paid for it. So it's really the only way to help me survive. Help me go see more Ant-Man movies. And then the other thing I like doing at the end of every episode is there's a link in the description below for Planned Parenthood, to donate to Planned Parenthood. I just think it's a really good cause, and Planned Parenthood is a really good organization that does some really great stuff in the American healthcare system. So go give some support there. Again, like and subscribe to this channel if you feel like it. I hope you do, because I like having conversations. I hope Derpy isn't mad that I like this movie. Hope you come back, dude. I don't think you're gone forever, but anyways, for Jon Does, I'm John, and I'm doing something that you can't see right now, but you can hear it. What I'm doing is I'm moving my slider up so you can hear the music more. So I've done something. All right, I did something. I'll see you guys tomorrow. Peace out.